Don't clap for me, San Fernando. Sorry, I was watching Evita last night, and I got... It's a good show. Have you seen that?
Yes.
On the basis of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, I give this audience a 10 for obedience. We'll see you soon. Now, if you sit and stay during the monologue, I'll give you a dog yummy after this is over. Didn't I see this group in the Spanish Parliament yesterday? Oh. Well, you sound like in a good mood. We have a good show tonight. Got cooler out here, the weather. We had a week of beautiful weather here. Tourists from out of town? Yeah. Okay. From time to time, we like to give the city of Burbank its due. There are a lot of things to do out here. Mostly... the television studios are out here, the motion picture studios, and you can also... for example, tonight, it's exciting. It's the night they changed the pictures of the food on the menu at Carl's Jr. New pictures. Have you ever played at the Burbank Symphony?
I haven't, but I'm looking forward to it.
They have the Burbank... Saturday night at the Burbank Symphonies, they have back-to-back concerts featuring Slim Whitman and Boxcar Willie. Yes, sir. And you know who's going to be on our show? What's the date?
Slim Whitman, March 5th.
March 5th, Slim Whitman.
Yay!
Yeah, on the show. We don't know about Boxcar. He's out on the road somewhere. or in the road. By the way, I talk about the exclusive shopping district in Beverly Hills all the time, down on Rodeo Drive, right?
Right.
Right here in Burbank, they have some fine stores. Well, it's a district similar to Rodeo Drive, but they have Lumbago Drive. And they have a boutique there with exclusive designer jeans. Linus Pauling jeans. The only thing that comes between you and your Paulings is thermal underwear. They're kind of nice, though. You look good. You're slimming down.
I guess.
Speaking of, Ed is on the Burbank diet.
Yeah.
You know what that is? It's a little different. You move to Burbank and you get so bored you can't eat. Well, Burbank is nice. We kid Burbank. No, Burbank's a nice place, and we kid it because we try to get laughs that way. Laughter is my business. Obviously, business is closed. But I'm staying open late tonight. Anyway, let's go to the news and see if the revolution in Spain is finally down the drain. They had some problems over there. You're so quick to turn. The television industry right now is going through what we call ratings weeks or sweep weeks. And you may have noticed as you watch television, they do kind of exploitive drama. There's a little more sex and violence, and they will put any kind of strange behavior on televisions during the rating weeks. Now, NBC has a new show debuting, and I think it's probably just a coincidence that it's sweeps month, but it's called Those Incredible Perverts. The first story, I saw it. It's nice. First story is about a weirdo who flashes the entire city of Palos Verdes by The thing is so disgusting I can't even talk about it. No, he flashes the entire city hang gliding nude, was what I was trying to say. But if you don't say the words in order, of course, there's no joke there. What else is in the news? I guess you consider this good news. Soviet Premier Leonid Brezhnev, you probably saw on the news, is entertaining the idea of having a summit conference with Ronald Reagan. But Brezhnev said he would only have the summit conference on one condition, to make sure that both superpowers get off on an equal footing. Brezhnev wants a giant jar of boiled potatoes next to Reagan's jar of jelly beans. That word was jar, not giant bar. See, a giant bar of boiled potatoes means nothing. I'm breaking all the rules of comedy tonight. Let's see if I can do this next joke in some kind of order. According to the papers today, Ronald Reagan's net worth was listed, I didn't know how he had, $4 million. I guess there's a new law called the financial disclosure law. He disclosed he's worth about $4 million, and he's very honest about his net worth. I understand that he even put Nancy's closet in a blind trust. She has a lot of expensive clothes in there, you see. I told that one correctly, too. A little dancing entertainment to break up the laughs here. Hamilton Jordan, remember Hamilton Jordan? And Gerald Rafshoon, who is the press advisor, I guess, to Jimmy Carter, announced today they are getting together to do a 6-hour docudrama about the hostage crisis for CBS. And they said, and I quote, "We will not slant the story to make the president or his advisors look good." If you buy that, I also have some vacation land in El Salvador I would like to sell. What else is going on? Did you know Ronald Reagan did he go back to Washington already?
Yes, sir.
Sunday.
He flew out here, and the papers printed what it costs, and they estimated that during the next year, Ronald Reagan will spend, I guess because of Air Force One and all the people who have to travel, about $2 million during his term to travel back and forth to California. And somebody asked Reagan if he knew how much that was, $2 million. And Reagan said, well, if each one of those dollars was a playing card, you'd have a pinochle deck 6 miles high. Well, some sad news to report. Charlie's Angels was canceled. Yeah. The girls are thinking of going off in a new direction, acting. No, they're nice ladies. They really are. But the network is cruel in the way they break the news that a show is canceled. They can't come and tell you face to face. So what happened? The way the girls found out they were off the air, they went in and found out. The words are coming out again.
They went in.
What did I say?
They went in.
What did I say?
Something near that.
How about the girls showed up?
Okay.
The way they knew they were canceled.
How about the show was over?
No, that show was over.
Yeah.
And the way the girls found out they had been canceled, they showed up at the studio one day.
And
found out that their wet T-shirts had been sold to Rita Jenrette. That's the way they found out they were canceled. Okay, we got a good show for you, and we're going to go search for it right after this. Anyway, we've got a great show now. We have Mr. Carl Reiner with us. And a lovely actress. Mm-hmm. Not been with us for a while. Catherine Deneuve.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we'll be back. Stay where you are. We'll be back.
yes, indeed, Doctor. Indeed. Doc and the NBC office. I cannot think of an audience more deserving of meeting our very first guest, the famous visitor from the East. The all-knowing, all-seeing, all-omniscient, famous seer, sage, soothsayer, and former Lennon sister, Karnak the Magnificent. Welcome, welcome, 1,000 welcomes upon you.
Sim Salabim.
Yes. You always mention that mysterious phrase.
Right.
I hold in my hands the envelopes. A child of 4 can see these envelopes are hermetically sealed. They've been kept in a mayonnaise jar on Funk and Wagnall's porch since noon today. No one knows the contents of these envelopes, but you, in your divine, borderline mystical way, will ascertain the answers, having never before seen the question, is that not about it?
I don't think we have time for it. Padding your part.
Envelope Number
May
one.
I have silence, please?
Yes. You had a lot of it earlier.
Harnack, not jealous. The answer to this question is sealed in this envelope.
Hermetically.
I had no way of knowing what it is. I will divine the answer in this envelope. Breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering.
Name the one way Jimmy Carter will get back in the White House. Nine to 5.
9 to 5.
What was the final score of the basketball game at Leisure World? Soak the poor.
Soak the poor.
What's the goal of a jacuzzi salesman in Bangladesh?
The man is hissing.
Cash in their chips.
Cash in their chips.
Shut up. What do buffaloes do at a savings and loan?
Is your cape a little snug?
Yes. A budget cut. What do you get from a discount rabbi? May your daughter become betrothed to a Bedouin bedwetter. Baskin and Robin. How does a thief spend his vacation in Los Angeles? PTA, NAACP, IRS. How do you spell paternasterus? Mechanical bucking bull. What do you get from a mechanical bucking congressman?
Couldn't divine that one?
That's right. Harnack sometimes can divine, sometimes cannot divine. A screwdriver.
A screwdriver.
What do you call the guy who delivers gas to your service station? The Elephant Man. Hey, man, who stole all of my peanuts, man? The Elephant Man.
The elephant, man. I hold in my hand the last envelope.
May a crazed supermarket box boy.
What was that?
May a crazed supermarket box boy double bag your sister. Nobody can do it like McDonald can. Why does McDonald Carey's wife stay married?
like to pick up the one you threw away?
Good night. Thank you, Doc. We have Catherine Deneuve with us tonight. Anything to report? Is it still raining out?
No.
Somebody said it was raining again.
Cleared up.
A little bit this morning. My first guest, you all know. He does everything in the entertainment business well. He's an actor, comedian, he's a writer, producer. What else?
One night you called him a pencil.
A pencil, a shoehorn, a
pickle?
hassock, a small pine tree. Would you welcome Mr. Carl Reiner?
Fortuitously,
Yes.
I have a good review about you. I think tonight is the night you need that. A lot of kindness, a lot of
Yes.
sweetness. It happens to a guy every once in a while. As age creeps on, little cells die in your brain. Words that used to be very easy, like, what was the word you... bar?
Jar.
Box boy. Box boy, yes.
It's not too difficult.
No, box boy, it's not like...
And jar and bar are quite dissimilar.
Say that.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
But you lose box boy.
You lose... Somewhere along the line, you lose box boy and jar.
Well, this is not a joke. This was something we
It's got to
came
be a
across.
joke. Now this has to be a joke.
And no, it's not a joke.
All right.
It is not a joke. Do you ever have trouble making small talk and getting dates? If so, all you have to do is watch Johnny Carson. At least this is the advice being offered by a University of Pennsylvania psychologist who specializes in helping lonely single people. Dr. Jeffrey Young says many people find it awkward to talk on first dates because they are extremely anxious when they meet someone new. Many others, Young adds, don't get nervous, but they turn other people off by talking too much about themselves. In both cases, the psychologist says he recommends that the patients watch the way Carson handles his guests on The Tonight Show. Not the monologue, the guest.
Yes.
Says Young, I encourage them to view Johnny as a role model because he's extremely skilled at making conversation with people he's just met. He's a good listener. And when he does talk, he confirms through a joke or self-disclosure what the other person is saying. And that's
That was all on that little teeny piece of paper?
Yes, 1981.
That's what it says.
That's
Well, isn't that nice?
last month.
Well, I guess that's
Yes,
a compliment.
but
I
that's
don't
right,
know.
it is. And with this in mind,
Yes.
what happened about a week ago? It was hilarious. Where you had a guest, a lovely girl, one of Charlie's New Angels.
Yes.
And you got around to saying, hasn't anything ever happened to you or something? I fell on the floor.
Yes, I was getting desperate that night. And I was saying things like, something really wonderful must have happened with this new career. She's not really. I said, but your whole change of lifestyle, I mean, new friends, success, money, finances, there must be something that really was different. She's about the same. And that's when you really don't know where to go.
You know, what was it? Was it you or was it her? It was a first date. Do you think the two of you on a first date could have done better?
Probably not. That can happen. Both person thinks the other one is going to, I guess, take the conversation over and lead it.
But I
Didn't
thought
happen
it was
that way.
very funny, and I think the girl's very charming. I
she
think
was.
She has a lot of things in her that she wasn't going to say, and you'll have her back sometime and find out what those are.
I certainly hope so. Now, I noticed when you came out tonight.
Yes.
A little observational behavior. here.
Yes.
You did a little kind of silly half walk.
You know, I would think
Was that just to kind of get on?
it was to make myself feel young again. I've
No, you
noticed...
did a little silliness.
Yes, a little silliness, and I think you've got to do that every once in a while. I find that age has done two things to me that are very disturbing. One, my eyesight is no longer what it was.
No, I noticed you had the
I
Ben
wear glasses.
Franklin,
I can't read without them. I can see you. You're clear. Everything is clear, but reading gets
Right.
difficult. We'll talk about that, but I'll talk about that first. I find that I'm tripping, going up little levels like
Well,
a
I'm sorry. Then
stairways.
I shouldn't have said anything. I didn't
No,
realize it was a...
no, I'm going to do it again.
I didn't realize it was a physical thing. I thought...
No, you see, when Karnak does this, it's because he's old and venerable. But I find that I'm missing steps, not getting the full. I don't know if it's my eyes or that. So I'm doing this now.
the mix. You make light of it.
Make light of it.
Did you ever walk downstairs at night and it's dark and you think there's one more step?
Oh, that's the worst thing.
And you almost put your foot through the floor?
That's the worst.
And you sit there and there's nobody to see it except you, and you're going bump, 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 boom!
It's the opposite of an earthquake. There's too much earth under you.
Yeah. Silly things like that. What else bothers you?
Well,
now?
but
The reading and...
the eyes are the thing. I think that's...
But the memory, I mean...
Oh, the memory, huh? No, the memory is...
How long have you had that? Had what? Remember, that's the joke.
That's true. You lose simple words. You're talking for a long time, and all of a sudden, you simple words. Say, I was walking down the
Street.
street the other day. A simple word like that, you lose.
I wonder why that is.
They say it has nothing to do with anything happening in your brain. They say a lot of it is psychological, that you start thinking, because young people lose words too, but they don't worry about it. When an old person searches for a word, they start saying, there might be something else, and they get self-conscious about that. They say old people can learn new things. They can learn long speeches. They can learn to memorize.
Well, young people can just say, you know, like I was talking to my mother, you know, this afternoon, like I'm going downtown, you know, like...
Hey, you know something? I have a theory.
Well, that covers a lot of things, you know?
I have a theory. I think that's good.
Like I'm sitting here, you know?
You know, I know. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Like, wow. You know, I think what it is, maybe this is it. As you get older, you collect more words. The more words you have, the more you have to lose.
You look for the specific word.
If you got 12 words, you know, when you're young, you have 12 words. It's easy to remember them all. When you get to the time you get our age, we have hundreds of thousands of words.
Right.
So a couple of them fly out like bar.
And Locks Boy instead of Box Boy. Okay, we'll be back to Geriatric City in just a second. Stay where you are. We are talking with Reiner. We have Catherine Deneuve. We have Catherine Deneuve on the show, lady. You ever worked together?
No, when I heard she was on, I said, oh, I got to be there early.
Yeah.
Oh, she is one of the most beautiful women in the world.
She really is. Yeah. She really is. And
a
good actress.
Oh, is she ever good?
Yeah.
I hear in this last Metro, she's extraordinary.
That's the Truffaut?
Yes. Oh,
Truffaut picture, yeah. We saw each other a couple of weeks ago. We had a night out with the boys, which we both said we don't do much anymore. Harvey Korman said, you know, I got a birthday. He said, I'm calling a few friends. I said, you mean wives? And he said, no, just guys. Sit around, and we ended up at a restaurant called what I'm not plugging the restaurant, but it was Chinese food, Shanghai Gardens, I guess, or something like that. It was a fun night.
It was real fun because we let our hair down, those of us who have hair.
Yes.
I mean, those of you who have hair.
You could have rented some hair.
As a matter of fact, I heard a couple of the best dirty jokes I've heard in a long time.
That is true.
And we've been repeating them all over town. But it was very nice. It was nice. We talked about other things than humor. We talked about failed marriages, successful marriages. It was a very serious discussion.
Got into a lot of subjects.
A lot of things. Did you notice I was looking at you a lot during that evening? No, it was nothing untoward or sensual. I just was looking at you, and I was thinking, I had just written a new picture, not the one I'm doing next, but the one for next year, and it's called Alias Nobody. And I said, Johnny could be Alias Nobody. And I said, and I really did. I didn't want to talk business because it's about an aging actor. And I figured if I well, let's face it, Johnny. We are that.
We're not in the final glide path.
No, it's not about a man in the
terminal city. Yeah,
no, it's not a man. It's not about a man in a terminal city. But I thought I really wrote it for myself. And then I looked at Harvey Korman. I said, he could do it.
Right.
And then I looked at you, and I said, you could do it. And I decided to talk to you before I talked to Harvey. Well, really, I'm not going to talk to Harvey.
I don't like when people say, you know what I hate really now is when I see the commercials on television for drivers that are supposed to be, I guess, off the highway somewhere, you know, and should not be driving cars. And they come on, for you overage drivers who can't get insurance, and they're talking about people 55 years old.
I know.
And I would say, wait a moment, what is this business, 55?
Well,
and I start to resent that all of a sudden.
Well, do you resent my telling you that I have a part for you that's too old for you?
No.
Oh.
Well, you said aging, but everybody is aging.
Exactly.
This audience is aging right now as they sit here.
Do you know? Watch this piece of philosophy, Samuel Beckett. We are born astride the grave.
That is true.
Think about that. It's true. We start aging the moment we're born. We don't get any younger.
It's all downhill.
After you're 1 day old, you're 1 day and an hour. You're 2 days.
That's
You
what,
keep aging.
I think that was the point I was making here, that
Yes,
these people are
we're
aging.
we're just beating this to death.
Yes, we are, and
Yes.
hoping that somewhere along the line we will find some humor in this.
No, but I'm definitely...
When you say aging, what do you consider aging?
Well, and this, I'm serious about this. I'm not joking about it. I was looking at you with that in mind, and I said, I'm going to talk to you about it.
Is this
I might
a
as well
comedy?
do it in front of the
Is
world.
this a comedy?
It's a serious comedy, and the actor... It's the story of an actor who has had a fair success, like a year or two on television with a series, and he's now at the age where he's about 50, anywhere from 55 to 60, and he is bald. You see, to play the part, you'd have to shave your head.
No.
But he wears a toupee, and at one point, and he dyes his hair, trying to look like his picture in the player's guide.
Yeah, but occasionally you wear a hairpiece.
Yes, right. Well, I'm not this guy. I'm a very healthy person. This person's a little sick. And I think...
You mean sick emotionally?
Emotionally? Well, emotionally infantile, let's put it that way. He doesn't want to deal with the fact that he is no longer a leading man.
Yes.
And he'd rather play a leading man part in plays and dinner theater than play a character part on television or movies. He wants to hold on to that image of youth.
And lots of people do.
That's right, and that's what this picture's about, Alias Nobody. And I thought, if you'd shave your hair and work for the scale that you give us on your show,
I can't afford that.
I would offer you the part. Or I could get Paul Newman and have a success. Either way.
I can't afford those wages. I've heard people, I don't know that the story is real or not, but have shaved their head and did not grow back.
Don't tell me that.
Did not grow back.
Don't tell me that, because...
Is that the way this happened? You originally did that for a part?
No. Oh, I shave. No, it grows back. I just shave it because I think hair is gaudy. Every morning I shave it. I have a full head of hair. I wasn't here. No, but why I say that, because the next picture I'm doing with Steve Martin starting in July, I play a part in it, and we wrote it with a fellow named George Geip and Steve Martin, and there was one part where there is a bald-headed man. It's not described bald-headed, but I said he'd be very good bald. And I'm talking about myself.
Right.
And I'm going to have to shave my head. But if this doesn't grow back, I'll be very upset. Do you know that for a fact?
No,
Who can I check with? Somebody smarter than you about hair.
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
Hair is not my life.
Right.
But you wear that, when I say wear that, I mean you...
I put on a hairpiece.
No. What I say is you have a nice shaped head.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
A lot of people bald
Yes.
look a little strange.
And you have the cutest button nose. You should see it from this end.
And I hope we can agree on the furniture.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or at least this.
You don't worry, do you, about getting old?
Oh, no, I don't worry about it, but I am upset by, tripping when I don't want to trip, and not being able to see. It drives me crazy. I mean, I was at, the other day...
Have you ever tried contacts?
No, I can see, I see very well. I can see, the signs. I see... It's reading. Oh, here the light is so good I could probably read without glasses. But I went to Norman Lear's tennis court. We play tennis every once in a while.
Right.
And Norman was a few minutes late, and there's a lock on the gate. And he gave me the combination to go in, and I didn't have my glasses. A little dark, and I'm looking, and I couldn't see the numbers. And I said, there it is. There it is. There's the...
You are farsighted then.
Yes, you get farsighted. After you're 40, there's no way, if you have had perfect vision, you young folks, someday you're going to be farsighted like her.
Well, I can still read things here.
You're amazing.
I can still
I know
read
how old you
small
are.
script here.
Were you ever nearsighted?
No.
Then you have very, very strong eyes.
Yeah. Is that good?
I mean,
What would happen if I look through these?
Well, let's see. Let's give him very fine print. Oh, let's see. Do you have fine print, anybody?
Get my contract. I'll show you fine print.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there. This is the end. Yeah, that's... Now, read it without glasses.
Now you can tell at a glance when your tissue dispensers need refilling without unlocking the dispenser.
Now, when you put the glasses on...
El aparece la hoja amarilla. Cambie la caja con una nueva. Para evitar desperdicio, coloque la que la vieja en el ocuda. But since they also do
Let
it
me see if I can see it. Now you can tell a glance when your tissue dispensers need refilling. That's because the light is very strong here.
Now, what happens when I put the Ben Franklin's on?
Well, you'll put it closer. You put it closer to read it.
Sometime I hope my mother comes back from Ireland. Just before I die, Father.
Well, sure, it does make it somewhat clearer. It makes it larger, is what it does.
That's right. But that's amazing at your age not to use glasses. Well, He's over 40. No, let me explain that. That was not a dig at our leader here. Over 40, between 40 and 45, every normal-sighted person gets farsighted.
Can you read
he's
that
over
much?
40.
I wear glasses.
He wears glasses.
There's nothing wrong with wearing glasses.
Well, here the light is very good.
No, I need glasses.
So far, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But I suppose in time.
I can make a Kleenex.
You probably could have guessed it.
We have to take a break?
All
We'll
right.
do this. We will be back in a moment, and we'll bring a young person out. All right, we'll bring somebody out who probably doesn't have the problems we have. We have talked about how lovely Catherine Deneuve is, and that's certainly true. She also happens to be a very, very fine actress. As a matter of fact, she starred in the last Metro, which is the Truffaut picture, and been nominated for the Best Foreign Film of the Year. Would you welcome, please, Catherine Deneuve? So nice to see you again. Now, you notice how easily she stepped up there and
Yes.
walked
No,
over
I
here
watched.
with no...
I watched. Did you see?
Have you heard our conversation that we've been talking about?
Yes, that's why I was very careful because I'm very clumsy.
Are you really? Mm-hmm. I mean, are you one
I
of the
don't
people who
look
gets up and walks into things
Yes, I'm
inadvertently?
not myself. I have bruises all the time.
A lot of people
Nothing
do
to
that.
show
I don't know
for.
what that is, but I imagine athletically...
Sight, they say.
It is?
Yes, it's always the same problem.
Yeah. We were talking about, I think, reluctantly about aging.
Yeah.
Does that... Do you ever think of that at all?
Yes, like everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people get... it becomes a phobia. It becomes terribly
No, not yet.
irrational to them.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Will be one day, but not yet, no.
What do you consider, if you had to say somebody was old, what would age would you say somebody would be old? No, I don't mean this, Stuart. I want you to be
I
perfectly
don't want
honest.
to hurt
Catherine.
anybody.
It's perfectly all right. I don't mind. I just want to get, if you said,
I wouldn't say the
If
same
somebody
age
said-
for a man and a woman first.
all right, what would you say if a man was elderly?
Really old?
Well, no. See, now you're hedging. How about he's a middle-aged man?
Middle age, I would say 50.
I'll buy that. Buy that. That's middle-aged.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Now, for a woman, what would middle age be?
40, 45,
That's true. Now, that's interesting, isn't it?
I hope.
No, that's true.
And it's not really true because women live longer, so their middle age should be later.
Yes, but they start living younger. No?
I don't know.
They start living
Not
younger?
in my neighborhood.
They start to live younger, yes.
I never thought of that.
Well, a woman gets a baby younger than a man most of the time. She gets married, she's younger than a man. She starts to enjoy life. It's proof, I think, that a woman is at the peak of her life of around 35.
That's what they say. That's all. It never seemed fair.
No, but it's not true for everybody, of course, but it's a middle, it's a normal...
I read figures, and I don't know whether they're correct. For example, a woman's sexuality, that a woman into her 40s sometimes reaches her sexual peak. And for a man,
Never.
it's Friday afternoon. Never? Yeah, you may be right. For a man, it's Friday, I think, when you're 18, Friday afternoon, between 3 and 4. That never seemed quite fair. It does create some problems sometimes.
I
does
would
it not?
like to be a man, so... it's
Which
all
I was
right.
going to ask you. That was my question.
No, I wouldn't like to be a man.
Why not? Do you think women have
Too much competition.
too much competition?
No, in life, yes, you have to... A man has to compete for so many things, much more than a woman.
Yeah, well, those are the role models, I guess, that were established when we were children, right? But they're changing a little bit. The man
Yes.
is supposed to be the provider and to go out, and now women very often in the family are the ones who are the wage earner.
Always
So
been,
the roles are changing a little bit. You would like to be a man just for a week to see... I've always wanted to be a woman for just a week. To
That I think it's normal.
To see emotionally, if I could understand what I find hard to understand. I'm serious now. And I think women would like that too, to be a man for a week, to find out what it is emotionally that sometimes we find at each other. We're at each other's throats sometimes. But because I don't think we understand each other. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Case in point.
May
What?
I ask you something?
Case in point, yes.
Is that when you bought that lovely dress that you keep in your closet?
Look, one time, and they never forget. It was a dance, big deal. I guess what I'm saying, ineptly,
No, I understood what you said. I
Yeah.
didn't say anything, but I understood what you said.
do you think that,
I don't agree, but I understood.
do you think men understand women? Do you understand men?
I try.
I know that's a broad question.
No, but I try. I think I do.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes I.
Because
I do.
men often say, and women will yell chauvinistic, that women are overly emotional. And that's kind of a bum rap, because I think men sometimes are just as emotional. I think women are much stronger in certain areas than men are when it comes to crises. I feel like I'm going to get an award here. I'm talking or something.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's the term, I guess the sex symbol, that was a word coined in this country, was it not? Mainly.
Sex symbol?
Yeah, sex symbol that they started back in the, I guess, in the 40s in motion pictures. That's been attributed to you also. Does that word bother you? Does it sound like, again, a chauvinistic term, being a sex
No.
symbol?
I've never been called like that, but I wouldn't have nothing against.
Some women do, nowadays. If you say to some women,
Maybe I'm not a woman then.
no, you're...
Thank you.
I don't think there's any problem there at all.
No, I don't think so either.
We understand that. When you were... I want to ask you about the picture that you're doing now. I have not seen it yet. Have you seen it? Apparently,
No, but
Carl
I've
has seen
read
it.
an awful lot about it. I'll read anything that Truffaut does. I want to know what he's doing because he's such a brilliant picture maker. And this one, I can't wait to get to. I mean, the reviews have been marvelous, and her reviews have been marvelous. It's a
Would you
great
explain this?
subject.
You want to, I don't even know the subject. Can we talk about it a little bit?
Yes.
All righty.
It's difficult if you haven't seen the film, but we can try.
Well, I'll try anything.
It's a story of actors trying to play in Paris during the occupation, under the German occupation. And it's the difficulties of people to go on living and working in Paris under that period. I think it's one of the first time that a film has been placed under the occupation, but used as a background
Right,
of. It's always the main subject of the film, which is not in that film.
right. I look forward to seeing it. I had a question when you were talking, one of my mind. In theater, if you go to movies here in this country, and I've been to movies in Europe, over here you go in and they sell you popcorn, they sell you candy, people are eating through the picture. You don't find that much.
No, we don't
In
have
your
that.
opinion.
We don't have so much good organization. It must be a total pleasure to eat and watch a film at the same time.
Most of the people, many people, I've gone to movies, though, and I resent it. Somebody's behind you with a box of popcorn and unwrapping candy bars, and I've seen pictures in Europe, and you don't see that. And it's...
I'm more disturbed in films by the light in the cinemas, in theaters, because it's very difficult. There's too much light in. It's not being like. We are more used to being in darkness,
Right.
in Europe, and that I find it more difficult.
Right. Let me take a pause here. We'll do this commercial. We'll be right back. After word from your local station. We're back. We're talking with Catherine Deneuve. What do you want to talk about? I'm getting the crazy subjects they're talking about, sex symbols and so forth. You have children. How old are they?
Almost 18, my son, and I have a little girl of 8.5.
Yeah. Now, if your son came to you and wanted to get into acting, would you back him on it, or would you say it can be a very frustrating, tough kind of business to get into?
Depends for which reason he would like to do it. If he wants to because he doesn't know what to do anymore with the studies, I would try to find something else first, because I think it's very difficult. So if you don't have really a passion for it, it's
That's a
difficult
good
to be
word, but
happy.
sometimes people have a passion for it, but don't have the talent.
Well, it's already something to have the passion.
Right.
It gives you some talent.
Does he have a
Talent?
talent for acting?
No.
Yeah.
He's studying for the moment. I don't think he wants to be an actor, no.
What would you rather he would be if it wasn't an actor?
I really don't think of anything because the trouble for the moment to go to university, and he's only thinking of studying.
Right. What gave you your passion for acting? Why did you want to become an actress?
Oh, I didn't want to become an actress.
You didn't?
Passion came very late. It was a very late love story. I started to do films before really to get well involved with films.
Right.
I just got into films by accident and luck in the same time. because I played in a film opposite to my sister, to play her sister in a film.
Right.
And it just happened that way.
Everybody comes to Hollywood practically, and Carl's probably been asked this a dozen times. People who want to get into the entertainment business always want to either go to New York or come out here to California to get into movies, and you never know what to tell them, because one out of how many thousands probably have a chance to make it. But
I agree.
when young people say to you, young actresses say, should I go to Hollywood, what do you tell them to do?
Well, I'm glad they don't ask me.
Well, you must get mail from saying, how do I become a motion picture star?
It's very, I mean, the only nice thing, if you were really sincere, would try to discourage someone, because it's already so difficult for people in the business to, I mean, at least in Europe, I wouldn't say here, I don't know, but in Europe it's very difficult.
Well, they had an actor strike here several months ago, and I think there's some 25 or 30,000 members of the Screen Actors Guild, and the average salary, if you average it all out, was something around $3,000 a year or something like that.
It's not even that in Europe.
Yeah, and only the top maybe 10% of the actors or actresses really were successful from a financial standpoint.
I know.
And yet people still want to come out and be actresses.
That's why you should try to discourage them.
Yeah. What would you like to do when you stop acting?
When I will stop?
Oh, if you do. Have you ever
Oh.
thought about the time that you might not want to?
Why should she stop?
I'm not saying she should
When
stop.
she gets to be 55 and 60, she'll be the best-looking old lady ever saw.
You see?
We need that.
See, now all of a sudden, see, it's 50 old again.
Yeah.
55 or 60. Would
Well,
you play? Would you play?
Well, I know when she'll be 80, we'll call her 60. I didn't want to say when she gets to be 80. I didn't want to give her age away at 80. So I was lying about her age. She'd be 80.
Somebody told me that you wouldn't play an older part if somebody came to you now and wanted you to play a role, maybe say 15 or 20 years older.
No.
Although other actresses have done that.
Well, yes, no, I was not asked the question that way. I was asked if I would like to play and be ugly enough fame, you know. And I said that I had quite a lot of pride, and I don't want to prove that I'm a good actress without using my physical
In other words,
appearance.
just to
because I
play
think
old to
it's-
play old. It is a pleasure to have you here tonight. I'm looking forward, as Carl and I both said, to seeing The Last Metro. And good luck. Thank you. Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.